First, 2013 meeting of the Committee of the Whole. Will the clerk call the roll, please?
Acting Chair Tack,
I'm here.
Mayor Schoenhyder,
Here.
Alderman Novit,
Here.
Alderman Walden,
Here.
Alderman Moore,
Here.
Alderman Pandeleon,
Here.
Alderman Reisenberg,
Here.
Alderman Palmer,
Here.
Alderman Edelman.
Here.
9-0, Mr. Acting Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. First item is the approval of the minutes of the June 3rd, 2013 committee meeting. Are there any comments, deletions, alterations? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve minutes?
Second.
Voice vote, please.
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Aye.
All together now.
All right, the next item is the Forest Park update, which is presented by Michael Thomas.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Honorable Mayor, members of the Committee of the Whole. This evening, staff is pleased to present its recommendation for the city to proceed with the Forest Park project. It will be split into two phases. One is the site improvement project, which is basically our infrastructure. The second is the demonstration project, which is being planned for the spring. Trees, bushes, the amenities, those types of materials in the springtime. To begin with the PowerPoint, and I apologize, this is difficult to see, but we simply wanted to show to you that we do have a very defined plan for this project. Phase one, the site improvements, we're looking to begin September 3rd and have it completed by mid-November. At this current time, phase two, again, the demonstration project, is still being designed by Stephen Stimson. The Project Corporation Board intends on bringing those plans back to you over the winter months to seek your approval for the final plan. And then with the funds raised, they will begin phase two of the project, the demonstration project, mid-March, and should conclude it sometime by the end of May or early June. So again, the schedule lays out that timeline. Summary budget, we wanted to review with you the different aspects of the budget itself. Forest Park Board Corporation has selected Glenbrook as their contractor. You can see the various aspects of the project totaling $921,000 with a contingency. We recognize there needs to be a final layer of asphalt that we're not going to put down in the fall. We're going to put it down after the project is done. Like any project, that's the last thing that goes on. The bond total just over $1 million. The city's contribution of $800,000, and then you can see the remainder of what the Forest Park Project Corporation will be paying for. And again, a very conservative statement at the bottom noting that this assumes no further donations, but the obvious is true that they'll continue to receive donations, and that number will simply look better as time proceeds. To go over the infrastructure again simply, and I apologize, the color on the overhead, the PowerPoint doesn't stand out as well. The purple are is the path. The path is one of the main objects of the demonstration project. That will occur in the spring. So again, the path going all along Lake Road makes its way to the south parking lot, picks up again, and goes along the bluff. The ring road is in yellow, and then we have a storm sewer that the blue line on the south side is where water that is flowing to the southern end of the park daylights where the blue area begins. And it goes through the wooded area, and it again goes into the swale and out to the ravine. The water on the north end makes its way into the storm sewer on Lake Road. So again, our dividing line topographically at Forest Park, approximately 200 feet south is where the dividing line is for the storm sewer. Again, north it's going to overland to a basin and then into the Lake Road storm sewer. From there, that storm sewer takes the storm water into the ravine north of the North Drive. South of that line, the water will go overland under the entrance road right off of Spring Lane and Lake. And it daylights just north of the woods, flows through the woods, under the parking lot to a bioswale, and from there exits into the ravine on the south end. The roadway, again, with stormwater management, there's a perforated road drain west of the paved area, so the pavement will be pitched to the west, so all water will drain accordingly. Again, from there, as I just noted, the water will either go north or south, depending upon the topography. The roadway currently is 19 and a half feet wide. It will be 16 feet wide. It's currently constructed of 6 inches of stone and 3 inches of asphalt. We're going to increase that, it will increase its long-term life and durability. So we'll have 6 inches of gravel and 7 inches of asphalt. The parking spaces, as we know it, will be removed. However, there will be 2 parallel handicap spots installed on the east side of the road. There will be a pickup and drop-off area for approximately 2 to 3 cars, depending upon the size of the cars, adjacent to the Belvedere, again on the east side of the road. And then there will be a reinforced turf area on the west side of the road, south of the Belvedere, that should accommodate approximately 16 cars. The south parking lot is going to be similar in size and layout and capacity. There will be, as you can see through this rendering, an area for bus drop-off and turnaround. 2 buses will be able to be staged for the summer camps. The drainage, again, will go via a bioswale in the middle of the parking lot, and from there drain into our storm sewer, which then goes into the ravine. And the surface will be asphalt, the same as the roadway. The electric, we're simply replacing all the electric infrastructure. The same number of street lights that are at Forest Park will remain. They will be, in general, in the same location. We will install 17 new lighting bollards south of the Spring Lane entrance, 50 feet apart, and they will all face east and south. So there will be no light coming to Spring Lane or Lake Road. They will all be facing the pathway. And the city's portion, or this project, the infrastructure, the site improvement project, includes running the cable and putting the bases and the stubs for the lights. Again, the lights themselves come in the spring with the demonstration project. Again, as I noted earlier, the demonstration project is estimated to begin mid-March with a completion on or about June 1st. It will, as I noted, not only include the installation of the walking path around the park, but also many amenities, trees, bushes, the bollards, the lighting bollards, benches, trash receptacles, everything on this list. Those items we are hoping will be able to be purchased over the winter months, so things will be ready to be installed when the project begins next spring. And the most important part is that the demonstration project will be fully funded by local donations. So the city's portion is simply the $800,000 that we have budgeted this fiscal year in our capital improvement program. That will pay for a majority of the site improvement project this fall, not all of it, but the remaining portion of the site improvement project, along with everything for the demonstration project, will come from local donations. For us to be able to get here, there's been a lot of talk for many, many years on this project, and many thank yous. Bleck Engineering, Mike Bleck and Ken Magnus, Stephen Stimson Associates, Stephen and his associate Joe Waller spent a good amount of time. Augie Ziccarelli is going to be their project manager for this project. He will oversee the entire project, and like any other infrastructure project with the city, they will submit via Augie pay requests that'll show the detailed amount of material used. They'll submit the waivers to us. We'll pay based off those invoices. Bob Ells, who is not here tonight, spent a good amount of time going through all these plans and the contract documents, but most of all, obviously a thank you to the Forest Park Project Corporation. They've spent a good amount of volunteer time putting all of this together, and we wouldn't be here today without their efforts. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Members of the Forest Park Project Corporation are here as well. in case you have any questions for them.
You've done calculations for that storm runoff to the south that's gonna go down the ravine. Isn't that the ravine that was kind of reconstructed when we built the new road down to the boat ramps?
A little bit further west, there's an outfall pipe that is further west in the ravine that takes, I think it's a 21-inch storm sewer that comes down Lake Road and goes into that portion of the ravine. We'll just tee into that. In fact, that's already teed into that.
So there's existing storm
Yes.
drainage already going down there?
Yes,
And the incremental addition, you're not concerned about erosion?
not at all. The amount of water that is going to come off the 16-foot wide roadway, it's gonna daylight into land that will, for some reason it's not working for me. Daylight into land that will go over land and sink into the ground itself and then through the woods. There's a lot of that water probably is not gonna end up in the ravine. It's gonna soak in, and that's the purpose of this.
Well, there's not gonna be a heck of a lot of impervious anyhow to generate it, right?
But again, to point out here, and I apologize, the blue line is where the water daylights, goes into the woods. It will go under the parking lot into the bioswale, which is just a swale in the middle of the parking lot. Again, it'll seep into the ground, and what is ever left from there, it'll make its way into the storm sewer.
Why is it called demonstration project? Is that the final phase?
That is the second phase, correct. And it has to do a lot with the landscaping that they're proposing, for the best management practices that they're proposing to do to not only manage the stormwater, but all the aspects of the project itself, making it a very, active park, useful park. I think they just want to show that it can be a very useful piece of property and park for residents, and they're doing it in various ways.
I think, Alderman, the other question was, I'll call it more of a legal distinction between what would normally be a city function versus a private function. Particularly, this came into play when there was some discussion as to whether or not the entire project had to meet prevailing wage or not, or whether it could be done in a different way than the city's normal processes.
All right. And then finally, I'd like to acknowledge that Augie Zuccarelli's sitting in the audience. And in addition to contributing to the Forest Park project, he's a part of an elite group of residents who meet at McDonald's 6:30 every morning and help me solve all the Fourth Ward problems.
Yeah, I was going to also mention that Augie was in the room and we worked together on the cell tower thing, and I think we're lucky to have you running the show here. I just wanted to say that, so. I know it's work, but it still feel fortunate.
Any more comments? So, Bob, you have to clarify, there's been a suggestion that we actually move the approval of the agreement to proceed to the city council from the council of the whole, is that right?
Yeah, I think there's, because this is on the regular city council agenda under your omnibus portion of the agenda, so it'd probably be good in the minutes to have a reflection that is a consensus of the council, of the committee of the whole, to recommend it to the full city council later this evening.
Okay, so do we need a motion to do this? Okay, so can I have a motion to move the approval of the agreement to proceed to the city council level?
So moved.
Second?
What type of vote do you
Voice
require?
vote.
Say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Well done.
I'm
Mr.
educable.
Chairman, I know that you have a few other things you might want, but we have a number of guests here. I don't know if you want to hear from anybody from the project board. Ralph, if you or Peter want to say anything before, or you said it all?
I guess I'd like to echo the sentiments of working with Augie. He's done a great job for us, but as well as Mike Thomas, Bob Kiley, and the entire city staff has been very easy for the Forest Park Project Board to work with. They've been extremely helpful through this process. We think it's been a successful process, and I think it's going to be a spectacular park, so we're extremely excited about it. And we're excited about the relationship that we have with Lake Forest Bank with the helping us with our line of credit. and also with the response that we've had from residents, we've raised over $1 million for this project at this time. So we're very excited about that, and we're going to continue that, and we're very confident we'll be able to get the rest of the money raised for the demonstration product. So thank you for your help.
It's just a quick question, and it might be, call it an advertisement of sorts, but if you're an average resident and you do want to contribute towards the project, on the website, could you get information or?
Yes, we've got information on our website. We've actually we're going to have a donor board
Okay,
on site, and for any resident that donates $1,000 over a 5-year period of time, we think that's very affordable for people, will actually be recognized on the donor board. That'll be at a prestigious place in the park.
okay,
So
thanks.
go to our website, www.forestparkproject.com.
Will you be sending something out asking for residents? to
Yes,
contribute?
we've started some small cocktail parties, and we're actually going to have a direct mail campaign, and so we are going to start soliciting. We're going to have a groundbreaking ceremony on August 3rd. Saturday, August 3rd. Prue, you want to talk a little bit about fundraising as long as we have this opportunity? Yes, absolutely.
The danger of Prue coming up is you better watch your wallet. She's going to ask for it right now.
It's hard to stop talking about this project because it's so exciting. But actually, it was great. You were terrific. You said all the things that are important. It's a 5-year pledge period. All pledges need to be in by the end of December of 2017. And I might just note, we think this was the right thing to do, especially coming off a recession. People can be more generous, which is wonderful. The fact is, we want to get this project done before 2017. As you know, you've of course seen the calendar, the schedule. So that makes it a little bit tricky, and that's why, of course, it was a good idea to get a line of credit so that we could actually get the project done when it needs to, and then just keep bringing the pledges in. We hope to actually have most of so we're over, as Ralph noted, we're over over $1 million now in pledges. But many of those are, not all, but Peter, let me get this right, over $1 million in pledges and cash. About half is cash. Okay. Okay, half is cash and half is pledges. So those will keep coming in. I would anticipate, as chair of the fundraising committee, I think I can say that we would like to get the fundraising done as close to done by the end of December as possible, before we begin the work in the spring. So that doesn't mean the cash will all be in, of course. We will still have that function to do. So we're about to do, it's like any classic capital campaign. You sort of start out with family, people who know about the project, who have expressed interest, and then you just keep going in widening circles as you can get to them. And we are doing this all as volunteers. We haven't hired a fundraising consultant to do this. We're doing it ourselves, and we had to figure out all the documents that both we and the city liked, and there were a number of phases to go through. We are trying to do both an inclusive campaign, which is this $1,000 over 5 years, which we feel is good for just about everybody. We think that's probably pretty doable, $200 a year, or however they would want to do it. And then we have something called the Legacy Circle, which is $100,000 or more over 5 years, and we've already had 9 donors to that, which is great, and that's about half as many as we hope we'll get. We'd like to get towards 2 million at that level, and it's kind of classic. I mean, you need those levels of donors as well as the big group. We will do at least one citywide mailing, and I'm hoping that will go out this summer. That'll be just a general overview of the project, including a pledge card. And then we will probably do another mailing towards the end of the citywide mailing towards the end of the year. And I was involved in the Market Square project, and we did a couple of mailings there, and they were very successful. They were inclusive. A citywide mailing is really the only way to get to everybody. Not everybody's going to go to the website, but this should work. I mean, to get people engaged who want to be. Yeah.
Prue, is the donation tax deductible?
Absolutely. Very important. This is thank you. Why didn't I say that right away? This is a 501c3, a tax deductible corporation, and we have an extraordinary treasurer in Peter Cherry, volunteer treasurer, and he will get you the appropriate documentation. But that's really important for people to know. So again, a great benefit. We've enjoyed working with the partner with the city as a partner, and I want to be sure that we also mention Mary Van Arsdale and her staff. She has been at events and worked on documents with us. She's a great, incidentally. She and Susan Banks edit everything I send them to Bob. They check out to make sure it's okay, and I know it's going to be really terrific by the time I get it back, so it's great. But we have a very nice partnership and great interest. There seems to be some very strong momentum, and frankly, if you have ideas of people that, you know, this stuff is only as good as the people whose names you get and you can get out to when you're going to do the high-touch stuff. So if there are people you think we should be going to and doing a presentation in person, we have some terrific landscape people helping us. Cliff Miller and Craig Bergman both know this property backwards, forwards, and inside out. And so for people who really want to know the landscape, want to know about the maintenance plan, which we're putting together, all of that, we've got the right people to talk to them. So feel free to feed me names. Be great. August 3rd is the groundbreaking. Didn't you mention that? And on the 25th of August, there's going to be something called Family Fun Fest, right? And that's going to be at the park, and there, I think already, and there's been a city, in one of the sitting mailings, there's been reference to that, and that's going to be sort of for the some of you may be in this group. I'm not. I'm in the having grandchild group, but for people with young children or grandchildren, should all come. So, good.
One quick big picture question that nobody's mentioned. Total project budget and the city's portion?
Yeah, so the project budget, Peter will, perfect, Peter.
This is
$4 million.
round numbers, and the city's spending 800
That's exactly right.
on infrastructure.
And I want to give myself just a little bit of wiggle room on the 400 because if this project, as you saw, is 1 million, that means the second phase is about 3 million. And in saying that, we're working off of estimates that Stimson made nearly a year ago as to what the demonstration projects costs were going to be. And the big pieces there would be the pathway, the amenities, and then all of the hardscape benches and so on, and then all of the horticultural items, which turn out to be pretty substantial, at least in that estimate. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I mean, I'm open kimono. That's where the 4 million comes from. It's probably a little short.
I just think it's great that we live in a town where we can get a project like this done and it can be funded privately to the tune of 75% or thereabouts.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Ralph and I marvel that we've raised almost $1.1 million. It's quite a significant statement by citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Any other matters for presentation before the committee?
Unless the council has any questions about any other item on the agenda later this evening. I know most is on the omnibus agenda. I think even the appropriation ordinance you've seen year after year, so probably no surprises with that as well, but we're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Last but not least, an opportunity for our public comment. Hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
Penny?